today's topic is why you should watch nature at least for 5-10 minutes every day. And also, I'm going to tell you how you need to watch it. There is a way to watch it very consciously. So, for example, if you watch TV, or for example, some people are scared to watch horror movie because you cannot sleep after you watch a horror movie because those things that you have watched in that horror movie is going to disturb your sleeping pattern. Or news in general is going to disturb you in certain way, or some negative news is going to impact. So it's a normal thing that whatever we see, it's going to affect us in certain way. Okay. Now you would be asking me a question, why watch nature? And the thing is, you don't know about nature. You haven't been observing the nature as is, which means that you have identification to nature, which means it's trees, it's water, it's the sky. What's there in it? What's there in watching the sun and all these things? What's there in it? Why should I watch it? So the thing is, once you keep on watching the nature, it will have a certain kind of effect towards you. In the same way you watch TV or you watch yourself in the mirror, everything will have an effect on you. And watching nature, you should be watching nature as is, which means that you should remove the identification and observe it in a more deeper way. Just sense it, just feel it, and just feel it for 5 minutes. And what will happen is there will be a slight change. You will start to notice more about, the water and how the water behaves, or how the trees are behaving, how the nature is acting towards us. Does nature has a memory of its own? Because it's not the same all the time. Sometimes it's very windy, shaky. Sometimes it's very pleasant. One of the things I observed is like our presence and our mind acts according to nature, which means that if the nature is shaky, it's very windy, and that disturbance will also affect us. If the nature is very calm, peaceful, that thing also will affect us. So simple things that like you will notice it. And the more you watch, the more deeper information you will have from nature. I'm not going to explain right now I gave you a simple example of if the nature is disturbed, it's going to affect you. That's the only information I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you deep information because you might not be able to understand, because it's my experience. And all I want to say in this video is you need to watch nature at least for 5 minutes so that you can have your own significant experience and how it feels, because the energy flow between person to person, nature to person, differs from individual to individual, and the experience will also differ from individual to individual. So if I share my experience, I'm experiencing this and experiencing that, you might think like, I'm talking something nonsense. So that's why I don't want to go deep into what I experience from nature. All I want to say is like, look at the nature for 5-10 minutes and see what happens. There's nothing wrong in looking at the nature. You can just spend 5 minutes in the nature. An important thing is see as is, no identification. Or you shouldn't be identifying it with color. You shouldn't be identifying it with any names. The way you see nature is as is. You just have pure observation, because as soon as you observe with name, color, identification kills observation, because the judgment comes into play. And as soon as the judgment comes into play, then you're killing the observation. So watch the nature as is and see what happens. Thank you and namaste.